सर्वेश्वर भगवान की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। भारत माता की जय। धरती माता की जय। हर हर महादेव।
ओम जय गंगे माता मैया जय गंगे माता। जो नर तुमको जाता, जो नर मैया जी को जाता, अनवांछित फल पाता। ओम जय गंगे माता। चंद्र सी ज्योत तुम्हारी जल निर्मल आता।
मैया जल निर्मल आता। शरण पड़े जो तेरे, शरण पड़े जो तेरे, सो नर तर जाता। ओम जय गंगे माता।
बार जो तेरी शरणागति आता।
मैया शरणागति आता। यम के त्रास मिटा कर, यम के कष्ट मिटा कर, परम गति पाता। ओम जय गंगे माता।
मंगलकारिणी मैया तू है सुखदाता।
मैया तो है सुखदाता। तेरी गोद में आकर, तेरी शरण में आकर, मन शांति पाता। ओम जय गंगे माता।
आरती मात तुम्हारी जो जननित गाता।
मैया प्रेम सहित गाता। दास वही है सहज में, भक्त वही है सहज में, मुक्ति को पाता। ओम जय गंगे माता। ओम जय गंगे माता। मैया जय गंगे माता। जो नर तुमको जाता, जो नर मैया जी को जाता, मनवांछित फल पाता। ओम जय गंगे माता। जय गंगे माता। जय गंगे माता।
त्वमेव माता
च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। जय जय राधा रमण राधारमण हरि बोल जय जय
राधारमण हरि बोल हरि बोल जय राधारमण हरि बोल
जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल
जय राधारमण हरि बोल हरि बोल जय राधारमण हरि बोल
जय जय राधारमण जय राधारमण जय राधारमण हरि बोल जय जय राधारमण जय जय
राधारमण जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल
जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल जय राधारमण हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय
राधारमण हरि बोल
जय जय राधारमण जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल
जय जय राधारमण
जय जय राधारमण जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल हरि बोल जय जय राधारमण हरि बोल जय
राधारमण हरि बोल हरि बोल जय राधारमण हरि बोल
जय जय
राधारमण
जय जय राधारमण जय जय
राधारमण हरि बोल
पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति
Well, here's the dilemma. It is selfish, but that doesn't make it wrong or bad. Usually when we use the word selfish, we use it with judgment. Don't be selfish. Share your cookies. Don't be selfish. Let them go in front of you. Don't be selfish, right? There's an absolute judgment with selfishness. Now, if I say to you, mourning is selfish, is it going to make losing a loved one any easier? No, of course not. But it's just going to make you feel bad about yourself in the process. And so all we've done is added insult to injury. So yes, it is selfish in that it's about me. Obviously, it's not about them. Because either we believe in an afterlife with reincarnation or we don't. If we don't, they're over. If we do, they're in a better place. Either way, nothing to cry over. Clearly, it's all about me. But that doesn't make it wrong. If I fall down and I break a bone, and I'm waiting for the ambulance to come and pick me up and I cry in pain, is it selfish? Well, sure. It's all about me. But does knowing that make me feel any better? No. And so it's a wonderful point you've raised, absolutely. And yet what we know is that if the pain is there, if the grief is there, which it is in almost every case, and I'll give you one example afterwards of a beautiful, in my mind, ideal situation. But in almost every case, that pain is there. Grief is a very important part of the process. My only option to grief in most cases is repression and denial. Simply knowing it's selfish doesn't make it go away. All it does is it makes me shove it down. And then I can't love again. Because I'm going to lose. Because you always lose. Because look what happened to me. I can't trust again. Because everyone will leave me. Because see, look, I got left. It happened. I can't open my heart again. Because see, when I open it, it gets broken. Look what happened to me. And so my literally subconscious, unconscious prevents me from moving on. My conscious mind denies that this exists, denies that I'm in pain, has just pushed it down. But it's there. And so I'm not actually served in any way by that knowledge. Other than when we turn real emotion into drama. Because that also happens. There is a period in which there is nothing but the presence of pain. And sometimes the pain is loss. It literally feels like you've had a chunk of you cut out. Sometimes the pain is anger. You're livid at that person for leaving you. How dare they get sick? Why didn't they take better care of themselves? How dare they die in a car accident? Why weren't they wearing their seatbelt or driving more safely? Even things that, how dare they die, regardless of how they died? How dare they get old? How dare they leave you? So there's anger. There's so much. The benefit of knowing it's selfish would pull me out of the feeling that comes. Sometimes a few days, sometimes a few weeks, sometimes not till a few months in. When a day comes or a moment comes, and you actually find yourself smiling or laughing. And then the mind kicks in and says, how dare you smile or laugh? You've lost your loved one. And then we pull back the drama of pain. It's no longer the present emotion. It may be the present emotion an hour from now, but in this moment, actually joy was the present emotion. In that moment, actually laughter was what was most present and most real. But in my drama of being the mourning mother or wife or daughter or friend, I'm no longer present with what's real because I've wrapped myself up in the drama. And so in that case, knowing that what I'm doing is selfish could be beneficial. But I would be wary of even beginning to think that way until I got to that moment. Now, there, there is a possibility, and I've witnessed it once. I witnessed a woman watch her husband have a heart attack and die. And of course she cried. I had been in India only a couple of years at the time, but she didn't wail, she didn't scream, and he wasn't that. He was 70 or so, so not old at all by most of our standards. And all she could do was fall at Pujya Swamiji's feet in gratitude that due to Pujya Swamiji's blessings, this man had died in a holy place. And that therefore he was attaining moksha and he wasn't going to have to come back. And that it must have been his time to go anyway. Her faith was so strong, it must have been his time to go. But through Pujya Swamiji's grace, here this man was in a holy place, engaged in seva, which meant that he wasn't going to have to come back, that his soul just automatically merged with God, and it was the most remarkable thing I've ever seen. And I watched her for days. Her children flew in. It was, and she stayed. Yeah, she cried when she talked about him, but there was none of the heart-wrenching, I can't go on grief. This isn't happening grief that I had witnessed in 100% of other times I had ever seen. So I do know it's possible. It's just very, very rare. And my feeling about emotions is the very best thing we can do for them. It's not about let them out, it's about be present with them. Which may sound like the same thing, but they're actually very different. What emotions need is space to exist, which doesn't necessarily mean my drama of a temper tantrum. When the world of psychology says, oh, you're angry, let it out. Hit pillows, hit a punching bag, scream and yell. We used to think that worked. We now know that actually, and what I was talking the other night about how I love when spirituality and science start to overlap. What spirituality has been saying for thousands of years, psychology is just beginning to talk about, which is actually the more temper tantrums you throw, the more likely you are to throw temper tantrums. The more you scream and yell, the more likely you are to scream and yell. Emotions are not, sadly, like food poisoning that you can just vomit it up or diarrhea it out and feel better 24 hours later. They're not like that. They may feel like that. It may feel like it's this thing in you. And you may feel better from the adrenaline rush, from the endorphins that come. Because literally, what the endorphins do is block pain. Chemically, that's what they do. So if I throw a major temper tantrum or I scream and I punch things and my brain is flooded with endorphins. Well, endorphins block pain. I feel better. Not because I've gotten my anger out in some way. And now I'm actually much more likely to throw a temper tantrum again. So what emotions need is space. And my advice is always, when they're there, try to sit down wherever you are. Try to close your eyes if you're somewhere where it's safe to do that. And if you're not somewhere right then, get yourself somewhere. And sit down and close your eyes and just create space. Emotions are like waves. They come. They come, they come, they come, they peak, they peak. They feel like they're going to drown you. But they don't. And if you can actually just sit there and watch your breath And it's not about don't be angry, don't be angry, don't be angry, don't be angry. It's not that. It's, okay. Anger. Yeah. Okay. Sort of like a guest who's shown up unexpectedly in your home. Right? So you're not going to throw them out the front door, but you also don't want to engage them in a very long conversation. Right? It's sort of how quickly can you give them a cup of tea and send them on their way? So I'm going to sit with it. And it builds and it builds and it peaks. And then it crashes, literally, like waves crash. And then what you find is, I'm still here. I survived it. It didn't kill me. Didn't drown me. I didn't fall apart. I didn't have to punch something or scream or yell. There may be tears down my cheeks. That happens sometimes. But here I am. And that's what I have found on a very personal level to just be the most effective way of dealing with emotions. Sit down, give them your space, give them their space with whatever's there. It's pain, okay. But you watch it, and what you realize, especially with pain, is it shifts. It's pain, then it's anger, then it's laughter maybe. Because in that anger at them, some aspect of them, some memory comes and it's right there. And there you are smiling or laughing in the midst of your pain. And be present with that too. And then maybe that shifts into loss. Because, wasn't that beautiful? And now it's gone. And then the loss shifts into fear. What if I never have it again? And we just sit there and you just watch them. Like waves. And they come and they go.